This is the 16th edition and my 10th one. I went to the 4th one in Amsterdam 2 years ago. Brock Pierce sat me down in LA and said, if you wanted to learn about blockchain, you could read all about it, but until you go to a conference, and back then there was maybe one conference every 2 months somewhere in the world. So I got on a flight, went to Amsterdam, sat there with 100 people, listened to 16 pitches. 14 of them were over my head. They were very technical, and 2 of them were amazing. David Orban, who's with us and has been a speaker ever since, and Craig Sellers, who's with us ever since then, and actually from the beginning. Those 2 people helped me understand, as a non-technical person, I don't know how many of you are technical or not, but I'm a former investment banker and a marketing guy, and I couldn't understand anything about blockchain. Back then it was 8 billion. I did nothing for a year. A year later, which was February of last year, I took over and I said, let's do this conference and let's put tourism in it. So all these hardworking people going to a conference could actually enjoy some tourism together, and they bond, they create more friendships. And then when you're a capital provider and you're pitching your ICO, you're not ready yet. Back then, there were, I think, 67 ICOs done. Today, I think we're almost at 600 just a year later. Then that friendship is easier. So that's why most of our formats are Saturday night, we start with the dinner, and then a club party, and then Sunday's tourism, everybody gets to hang out. Monday and Tuesday is the conference. Here we did a little inverse, but hopefully this will work as well. So the point of this conference, and again, for most of you who don't know, d10e was Brock Pierce, Matt McKibben, Tiffany Madison, who started this back in May of 2014 in Singapore. I think there were 56 people in the room. I think David Orban was not a speaker there, but Craig Seller was. And it just blossomed into an event where people are hanging out, they're making friendships, they're not just listening to a bunch of speakers. And also we introduced on the 9th edition in Kiev, so this was in September of last year, we introduced the ICO pitch competition because I got tired of just amazing educational speeches, but I said, where's the money? I'm a former investment banker, so I want to see where's the money. So we put up 100 Bitcoin, which back then was just $400,000, and we had 26 companies sign up. They all flew into Kiev. We partied like crazy. We listened to amazing speakers, and 3 of them won that money, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So everybody went home with 133,000, the top 3 winners. Those companies ended up raising 5.6 million Hacken, which got 2nd place. First place was BlockFi, which raised $22 million. I think that day or the next few days they raised a couple million based on the reputation and the PR, because they started their ICO right after the conference and they happened to win. And the 3rd one was Ripio, which ended up raising 37 million. Now the 8 of us that invested that 100 Bitcoin, I could look back at it, and for many, many months, I kept, especially in December when Bitcoin was at 20,000, I said, why did I invest that money? Right? Because it's like blindly into a pool of 26 companies. I'm voting with my own money, but then guess what? The top 3 get my money, then I have to wait. Today, that investment is 3 times more than Bitcoin is today. So that's pretty good. But it took a few months. So then every month we started doing this, and any of the investors from the Blockchain Invest Consortium, which now is about 200 members, would throw in some money. Right? Today, yesterday was 100,000. I convinced another friend of mine, if he's here, Lenoid from Cryptonomos, he threw another 100,000, and that's the way it works. So at every event we had between $100,000 and $400,000, they went to the top 3. So we've had 168 ICOs, and 19 of them have received, 16 of them have received 1.5 million. So this is metrics, as I call it. And now is the next evolution, and there's somebody very important in this room that you'll hear later today. And there's other people that have come up to me and said, I have this platform, why don't you convert your whole conference into an investors conference? And I said, that's exactly my dream. First, it was to bring cultural tourism so people don't just fly to some far part of the world, whether it's Bucharest, Romania, or Slovenia. We've done amazing events with Cayman Islands, or Gibraltar, or wherever, Davos and Amsterdam. When they get there for 1 or 2 days and then they just leave, all they saw was the airport, the hotel, they met some people at the airport, and they went. And I said, this is not living. We have to live a little bit because life just passes us by too fast. And I'm only 40 years old, but I always like to travel. And I said, if you can combine business with tourism and meeting amazing people and great educational content and advisors and capital providers, then you have a nice mix and you have a nice soup. And that's pretty much what I've attempted to do with our team here. And now you're part of that family. So it's great to see so many old friends that have been living here for a long time. I was actually happy to see that I think less than 20% of you raise your hand that you're from here. Because one of the main reasons why we came back to San Francisco or Silicon Valley is because most of our international friends throughout the world were asking me, why don't you do an event in the middle of the capital city of the world in Silicon Valley? And I kept saying, well, but that capital is venture capital, it's private equity. It's not yet going to crypto so much. There's all these regulations. And I'm a proud U.S. citizen as much as I'm a proud European citizen, as much as I'm a proud Israeli citizen. That's why we've also done an event in Tel Aviv, because I wanted to bring the show there. And they kept saying, America's going to be left behind. Innovation is being stifled, all these regulations coming. It's so hard to do an ICO here. Meanwhile, all these Eastern Europeans, all these Asian people are doing these amazing ICOs, raising a buttload of money, and then they're deploying it. But it takes time to see that deployment of money. Everybody gets so addicted to watching an ICO and everything that's being promoted, and then they kind of stop, because now they have to go to work. So I always tell them, at least once a week, put an email out to your investors, because they need to know what's happening. So the reason why we're going to Seoul, Korea in 2 weeks is because one of my biggest clients, Hyundai Digital Asset Currency, HDAC, raised 16,000 Bitcoin. They couldn't even announce it because, as you know, in Korea, you can't really talk about ICOs. But the good thing about that is they have a lot of investors, and they invited the top 200 to come to our conference. So they made me put a conference in Seoul, Korea, just so they could bring education and more value to their investor base, knowing what I told them, which is that after you promote so much, then you stop because Korea decided to make everything so illegal there. Then you kept raising money, but you can't really promote it. And now, what are you going to do? You have to give them some love. So for any of you that want to see Korea and want to meet all these amazing investors, I recommend that you come with us in 2 weeks, because it's going to be a really interesting show there. But back to money. So we're all here because we're looking for advisors, we're looking for capital, we're looking for partnerships, biz dev, whatever you're looking for. We try to combine it all together. But if you don't come up to us and ask us for an introduction to someone that you don't know or you would like to meet, we don't know. That's the purpose why we're here. This is a forum for people to debate things, but I don't like just debates, because then we can just watch things on TV and just sit there at home and eat popcorn. So while we're here, please make sure you come to any of us. There's many of us that are friends now that travel with us. We have like a groupie type of a environment that we've created. People come with us to many of our events, and we've kind of become a family. So if you're new to this environment, as I call it, an experiential conference, please come to us and tell us what you're looking for, because otherwise we'll never know. So that's my little speech. I encourage you to just network your butt off. And so I could talk about your success in the future at other events. We give a mic and a stage. That's really as much as we can do. And off stage, we try to help you meet whoever you're trying to meet if we can. But if you read the welcoming letter in this little booklet, Brock Pierce actually stuck in Puerto Rico. We have a big event coming up there. And he's moved already 50 people there, and there's hundreds more that are moving to Puerto Rico to help the island and to bring a lot of innovation there as well. But if you look at the way we sign our letters, we don't say sincerely or best regards. We created this notion of love, which is trust. If you read Greek mythology, and then we talk about creating value, because that's really what we're all here. We're not here to just raise money for the sake of raising money. We're not here to find an advisor just for the sake of finding an advisor, right? We're here to create value. And then, yes, everybody wants to make a lot of money, okay? But forget about that stage. So pass on the wealth. So forget about how you're going to make money for yourself, because if you create value, everything else will come if you have the mentality of what I call karmic way of looking at life, which is pass it, move it forward. So with that, I do need to thank our wonderful co-host for this event here in Silicon Valley. If you haven't seen their booth right outside here, I recommend looking at the future of trading institutionally in crypto. So a blockchain terminal is leading the way. They've already raised 20 million. They're on their way to cap it at, I think, 50 million they're going for. But that's not the point. Everybody's raising money. It's what you do with it. It's the partnership that you create and how fast you can deploy before your competition comes and gets you, right? So everybody's talking throughout the world, when is America going to reduce regulation, and when are the big investors going to come into this, right? Well, these are the companies and the technologies that will allow that. So check them out. They may be the winner. Maybe somebody else will buy them. Maybe they'll buy everybody else. Who knows? But they're here with us. And also the 30 ICOs that are not yet at the $20 million mark, raising towards a $50 million cap. They're in the back there. Most of you are here, I believe. It's been wonderful to see people that have just an idea come find advisors, then find a lawyer, then find capital, and then come on stage, win, and then go raise $20, $30 million and create 10x in the next few months after they start trading. That to me is amazing to just watch it over and over and over, and that's what motivates me to keep doing this. So thank you for coming, and I hope you really will come to all of us and ask for whatever you need, because that's what we're here. Thank you.